Good evening, Mayor Keith, members of the Menlo Park City Council, City Manager Alex McIntyre, and staff. I'd like to show you a short 11 to 12 minute video from the dash camera on Menlo Engine 1, which is responding out of Station 1 located at 300 Middlefield Road. The incident that they'll be responding to is a traffic accident in the city of East Palo Alto. But the fastest route to get there will be down Willow Road. The call occurs just after 7 p.m. You can see that traffic will still be a problem, although be better than it would be earlier in the evening. And some of you who travel that route know exactly how difficult it can be, but I think no one's ever seen it from the front seat of the fire truck. So that's what we'd like to show you tonight to emphasize some of the points that I've sent you in the letter that should have gotten there for your council meeting regarding the Willow Road overpass, and I'll make my comments specific to that when we get there. The units that are typically out there, Engine 77 and Engine 2, are currently on another response on the Dumbarton Bridge. So that's one of the reasons that Engine 1 is being pulled into the eastern side of the freeway. And also on that call with Engine 2, Rescue 2, Engine 77, Truck 1, and Battalion 1. They're all out on that call, and what will happen is Menlo Engine 1 will be first due to this call. Second due would be Menlo Engine 6 out of downtown Menlo Park, Battalion 3 out of Redwood City, and then Truck 21 out of San Mateo. The Redwood City truck is also on another incident, is unavailable. So we literally have units coming from Redwood City on automatic aid and the city of San Mateo on automatic aid. So with that, let me start the video. So starting the video, we start here at Middlefield and Willow on February 15th, 7:06 p.m. They're responding to East Bayshore and Menalto on a multi-vehicle accident in the city of East Palo Alto. You can see right from the get-go, the queuing, the ability for us to get into Willow Road from Middlefield is extremely difficult and needs to be redesigned. That's a constant problem. It's also one of the reasons the drivers opt in some cases to go through and past that into the city of Palo Alto and down University Avenue. Second thing you'll notice here as we come up on Blackburn is that the center dividers that have both foliage, signage, and some lighting are positioned to a point where it is not wide enough for the engine and vehicles to get past each other. So that's even just a passenger vehicle. And obviously if someone's parking there, that creates an additional problem. Just past one of the bulb outs, obviously we'd like to have the bulb outs removed, especially in heavy congestion. The bulb outs do not allow traffic to pull to the right side. One of the other concerns here, besides the bulb outs, is the parking at certain times of the day, and also the bicycles using the bike lane here, simply because people just don't pay attention. So that's always a risk for them. Coming up on Gilbert, traffic preemption's working here. Lights are supposed to stay green, which in some cases you'll see in this video don't always work. But again, you can see based upon the location of the center divider, vehicles are able to get out of the way. And again, once we have that center right and left turn lane, we're able to use that and move down through Coleman. Able to go up the center lane again, which is our preferred method down Willow and works well for us, up again until we reach a center divider mark. Fortunately, no vehicles in the way, so we're able to navigate. The engine's able to navigate around that. As we're coming up on O'Keefe Street here, you can see they're looking at the traffic ahead. So passing O'Keefe and Willow, and then coming up on this intersection where the drivers typically will go down the wrong side of the road, just because if there's an opening, the traffic congestion here at Durham and the VA entrance is significant. Then we're presented, as you know, with a difficult situation. You can see there's a Sharrow marking on the road, which we think doesn't make sense. But that's because there's not enough room for a bicycle lane here. And as I mentioned, people who are driving sometimes make irrational and poor decisions. So this is one of those individuals with a dealer license plate and probably looks like a new vehicle, I'm sure Chief Johnson would love to know what the plate number is on that, but it's a dealer plate, so we don't know who it is. Captain Johnson on Engine 1 this night is actually on the public address system telling this individual to stop, not move, and this movement by that vehicle into the opposing lanes creates a 2-minute delay here. Again, people don't always make the right decisions. It's also confused everyone else because they don't know now, should they stop, should they move, can they get over any further? And the engine captain and driver are hesitating to leave this situation based upon what's going on because, we don't want to leave these people in the opposite lane here. So as I mentioned in the narrative, people do crazy things. And this driver, as you can see, has totally overreacted. But just so you know, it's not the first time. So, again, on these center dividers in certain areas, what do we want to see? I'd like to see those either get rolled curbs, be removed, be shortened, just because it helps us with our response. Willow Road is an extremely difficult route to navigate daily during congested traffic. And it is a public safety problem because we can't navigate safely down this road without situations like this occurring on a regular basis. So imagine in worse congestion, how difficult it is for us to get down this roadway to the other side of the fire district, both in Belhaven, M2, and in East Palo Alto. So the engine's going to try and force the situation again, 2-minute delay. He's going to tell this driver to pull back over, as you can see the traffic starts to move, and to pull to the right side of the roadway. So the driver gets out of the way, the engine's able to come back up to speed. Again, somewhat congested here as we come up on Chester on the right, and then Bay Road on the left, and then the entrance to Highway 101 on the right. And you can see the overpass is going to present some issues too here because, again, there's really no place for the traffic to move. On a good day, typically at center span, we can cross over in incoming traffic lanes if they're empty and get a break from the signal at Newbridge. In this particular case, with traffic coming, the driver's not comfortable with doing that. It's not safe enough to really do that. So they're going to have to slog their way up the overpass. And this is one of the concerns that we have for the new overpass. Even though it's going to be wider, and we look forward to that, we noted there's a second bike lane that was added that hopefully will allow more vehicles to pull over. But at some point, it'd be nice to have some sort of a priority lane or larger easement on the side so we can bypass the traffic. Now, the number of buses that transport people back and forth from some of the businesses like Facebook, they're great in reducing the number of car trips, but they're also harder to navigate around sometimes just because they're bigger. So they can't as easily get out of our way. So you'll see this vehicle here. They're going to decide to go around the bus. The bus will stop, hopefully allowing them back in, which they do. Again, what you can't hear is the captain on the public address system trying to get people to move out of the way, but you can see some of the problems here based upon the congestion. And again, just the design of the current overpass. That's why, we are somewhat supportive of a new overpass, but the problem is going to be that stretch of Willow Road, especially during peak congestion, when no matter what you do with the new overpass, you're still going to have issues with the bike lane, the sharrows, and obviously our ability to navigate down Willow Road. So you can see the congestion only gets worse as we start to move into and across the overpass here. At this point, the driver's thinking about jumping the curb, but obviously it's not going to work with oncoming traffic. They'll hop up on the curb. Again, if the curb was rolled, it would be easier. And unfortunately, these are about 2 to 3 4-inch curbs. But the new curbs that were just put in down here, nobody checked with the fire district. Those are all 6-inch curbs. So this stretch starting right here is a full almost 6 inches, which does make it more difficult for us to navigate over the top of them. Many of the problems we see with some of the older apparatuses were constantly because of speed bumps, humps, lumps, jumping curbs, and just response. We're going through steering boxes, axles, leaf springs. So that's what it does in terms of damage to the fire equipment based upon the size of the equipment. Standard fire engine, mirror to mirror, about 9.5 feet. The truck is 10 feet. That's one of the reasons the lanes can't be too narrow for us. And the other thing is this piece of equipment weighs about 45,000 pounds. The ladder truck weighs about 70,000 pounds. So jumping these curbs are difficult. So here we are at Newbridge. A little help from Menlo PD there, flashing their lights. I'm not sure if it had a dramatic effect, but it was somewhat helpful. Turning onto Saratoga and East Palo Alto. And you'll see they'll have to navigate a speed bump, but there's no cutouts in the speed bump. Very similar to many of the older devices installed in Menlo Park. We currently have 300 traffic control devices in the fire district. The majority are in the North Fair Oaks and Menlo Park area, especially the Bellhaven area. So a lot of these things are not necessarily what we would want to see in terms of the impact of the fire apparatus. It slows us to a certain degree, but it also doesn't help with the suspension systems and steering boxes on the fire truck. So we're on East Bayshore. They'll be arriving on scene shortly. And again, some of the points I want to make for you this evening as you travel with the fire truck is you can see just the difficult problem that we encounter daily during the work week, especially during peak traffic hours, with response, especially over the freeway. Now, as I noted, especially with the police request and study session to add staffing, the district's already started to do this. But sometimes, even though we have enough resources out here someday, we will have that. It doesn't mean they're not responding to different emergencies, and then we'll need more resources to come from the west side of the freeway to the east side of the freeway. That's our challenge. Our biggest problem, one of our biggest problems, is Willow Road between Middlefield Road and Bayshore Freeway. And that's why we're concerned about the overpass project. We understand from a cost perspective, an opportunity perspective, there's a lot of improvements that can be gained, but we really don't think in timing that's going to be very beneficial for our response if we don't fix Willow Road. Willow Road needs to get fixed for our ability to respond effectively when we can't just keep responding through the city of Palo Alto. What's the difference between University and responding through the city of Palo Alto? Biggest difference is there's not all those traffic devices, center islands, bulb outs, all those things on University in Palo Alto, so it allows us to get through their jurisdiction and into our jurisdiction much more quickly. So with that, I appreciate your time and attention. You can see the Engine 6 has just arrived on scene from downtown Menlo Park. They actually took the same route that the ambulance did, which was down Ravenswood to Ringwood to Bay, and then cut in there to get across and come in behind Engine 1. So they almost caught them on this response, even though they were coming from Oak Grove and Hoover Street in downtown Menlo Park. And that, again, emphasizes the problem with Willow Road. So thank you for your time, and I hope it's made an impact to see the challenges that we deal with daily during the work week and because of traffic congestion. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope it's been helpful. Take care.